It's your boy Jonathan D'Angelo, aka Johnny D, and I am here with the artist Katherine McCadden. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Well, for the second take, because the power went out, I'm doing. We'll see. We're gonna play this by ear. We're gonna definitely
Okay.
play this by ear. So, Infinity War is coming out this weekend. Are you excited?
I am very excited.
Very excited.
Yes.
So we're gonna do a video on next week with me and a good friend of mine. He does film. We're gonna do a video next week on the review of the film. But if three people don't die, I quit Marvel. And as you can see, except for Black Panther, I'm a huge DC fan. So if they don't kill one A-list character and
hmm
like two C or D-list characters, I quit.
I just know that two of them are gonna die. I don't know about a third one, and I am not ready at all because I'm
How?
gonna cry.
Why are you gonna cry? Why are you gonna
Cause
cry?
I just do. I just cry when like characters die or something sad happens. I just fall.
Rumor is that this might be Chris Evans' last stint as Captain America.
I
The
know.
reaction.
I
So if they
know. And
kill Cap, if they kill Cap, it's gonna be amazing.
no. I'm not ready for that. My brain is like, no.
Fangirl.
A little bit.
A
It's
little
just a
bit.
meatball. It's fine.
All right, so you're an artist.
hmm
What? But you draw a lot of you have a lot of nerd influences. So
Yeah.
what got you into being a nerd initially? What was your first like? Oh my god, this is me. This is the rest of my life.
Um, I would have to say in middle school is when I first realized that I was a nerd.
Hmm.
But I had always liked nerd stuff from the beginning. Like when I was in preschool, I would watch Sailor Moon. I would watch Kiki's Delivery Service. That was my first Ghibli movie I ever saw in my life. And I would watch a lot of TV. And just honestly, I've been a nerd my whole life.
You said in preschool you watched Sailor Moon.
Yeah, I was in preschool when that was out. hmm Like the '90s version. Yeah, I was in preschool. I
Wow.
loved it.
Wow. Preschool. So
Yeah.
when Sailor Moon came out, I
Huh?
was in like elementary, middle school. Like I was in like fourth, fifth, sixth grade when Sailor Moon ran its like what six, seven season stint. So
hmm
I was a six. It was like well, I was like yeah, about six, about 5 or 6 seasons. Yeah. So wow, age gap, guys, age gap. So so what art do you have like a do you have like a particular like what got you into art? Yeah, what got you into art?
Got me into art. What did get me into art? I think I just got a lot of influences from books, TV, and comic books. I think that's just like what got me into it because I'm like, I want to draw like them.
Hmm.
So that was like my mindset.
So, like, do you draw a particular art form, or do you just whatever comes to mind, just throw it on paper?
I just throw it on paper, whatever comes to mind. But I take a lot of influences from real life, um, comic books, and video games.
Hmm.
So I take a lot of things and put it into one, and I try to incorporate it into my art.
Oh, so you're one of those well-rounded nerds then.
I try to be. I try. I like a lot of things. So
So okay, so do you draw your influences from like specific artists within different genres?
I
Would you say
have a
that?
lot. I have a lot of artists that I follow,
Hmm.
and I just take inspiration from all of them. So it all just comes up into a jumbled mess, and then it becomes my art.
So who would you say your comic book influences are? Like comic book artist influences.
What's his name? I think it's Jim Lee,
Jim Lee is God. Yes.
and that's the only one I can think of right now. But there's another one.
Hmm.
Oh, I don't remember his name, but I really enjoy his artwork. He's one of the like head of the department in Marvel Comics. I may have to look him up real quick because I don't remember his name. What is it?
Bro, I'll keep it rolling while you go. I'll keep it rolling
All
while
right,
you
cool, cool. Yeah.
play it off. Play it
Just
off.
ask questions.
So what about? So what about?
It's Jim Lee. It's Jim Lee. Jim Lee's like a big influence of mine. I had
Yeah.
to double check.
Oh no, Jim Lee. No, Jim Lee is amazing. His artwork on Batman the animated series in particular. I feel like his art made that series one of the greatest television animated shows of all time, and it is ranked. It is ranked top 10 of all time. In my opinion, it's number one.
Mhm.
But well, nah, I can't say that. If we're really gonna go animated, like the best animated series of all time, then I would have to say Dragon Ball falls closely behind that. But but
Yeah,
definitely
I can see that.
but definitely Jim Lee definitely like paved the way for animation for a long time. His influences from Batman the animated series, Adventures of Superman, he had a hand in Justice League, Batman Beyond, the Zeta Project, all and Static. And a lot of people don't realize that all of those shows are actually in one continuous universe. A lot of
Yeah.
people didn't realize that until the end. Yeah, so like it started with Batman and then the Adventures of Superman and ended with Justice League epilogue. But
Okay.
all those shows are in one continuity, and that was a brilliant move on his part. He also did the new Harley Quinn and Batman movie.
Yeah.
Um,
I saw that.
it was a really yeah, that was a really interesting take, and I love that he used the old animated series art form with that.
Yeah.
That
That's
all
what
the
I like the
feels.
most.
Yeah, I love that. What about anime? What about anime influences? Do you pull from any? Cause or who?
Uh, Specifically, the creator of Berserk.
Yeah.
I'm really into Berserk right now. Like in deep with Berserk. Um, I forgot his name. My memory is so bad. But creators of Berserk. Um, I haven't been watching or reading too much anime or manga yet. Really, it's been a while since I've been busy with college. But Tokyo Ghoul is
Mm.
also another one that I really enjoy, and I take some influences from that. So those are just two to name.
So does your drawings reflect that? Like, is it more like morbid, dark, romanticized, or is it like? Do you have a specific like? I guess you would say genre of art that you do in particular.
I've been focusing more on the human body lately, and just the bones, the muscles, and the structures. That's just what I'm focusing on, just the human body in general. Um, but I used to take lots of influences from anime a lot, but now it's kind of dwindled out a little bit. But I take more influences from comics now.
Mm.
So it's just a I'm just trying to find my medium right now. And right now the focus is the human body, so that's my concentration in college is the human body. So
So you're trying to go be a scientist? Is that what it?
no, no. I mean I could, but I like drawing the human body and the human figure. I do like that, and I like to read comics on the side. So I could be anything. Who knows?
True, true. So, do you have any historical influences in your art? Do you draw from any historical figures from any time period to portray in your art?
Gustav Klimt.
Mm.
He is like my number one, and Alphonse Mucha's number two on my list. I take influences from them, which is Alphonse Mucha is Art Deco, Art Nouveau, French, um, very geometrical, flowery, very nature inspired. So those are my two influences, main influences from historical figures in art. So
Would you say you so like music like I do music and spoken word like would you say like you find yourself because I know when I do music a lot of times I draw on no pun intended but I draw on a lot of one of my influences is Nas. So if I was to get in the studio and I was to rap, you know, they artists say sometimes that you listen to somebody enough and you find yourself sounding like them. You know, do you find yourself drawing like them? Is that a thing in the art world?
just a little, but I try to put my own twist into it and my
Mm,
own inspiration, my own um, myself into it. So it just a little bit, just a little bit.
okay,
I try
okay.
not to make it too much of a big thing. So
So, are there any major projects that you would like to work on? Like, I know you see a lot of like, being a nerd. Like, this is like the greatest time ever to be a nerd because not only are we not bullied, but everybody tries to be like us because it's cool now.
uh-huh. Exactly. And I'm like, took you long enough.
So it's like, is there any is with all the projects coming out? You got Avengers. With Marvel doing their thing, DC doing their thing. Like, do you have like a dream art project that you would love to work on within nerd culture?
I would love to work with Marvel or DC. Doesn't matter what project. I just want to be in that company.
Mm.
Like that's what I'm going for. That's my big goal. Um, and then Marvel, Disney and Marvel are like the same thing, so I can make it to Disney too. So that, yeah, that's literally my goal is to make it into those big companies because I enjoy it. I enjoy what they make. I enjoy what they show to us, and I want to be a part of that a lot. I really do.
Do you, on top of the art that you already do you draw comics? Like, do you actually draw comics?
Oh no, not yet. I haven't tried that yet. I've been meaning to, but I haven't had time since um, college is beginning to wind down a little bit, and I'm taking summer classes. So I haven't yet, but I plan to. I just need to get there.
So, how do you feel? We're gonna take a little turn for a second. So, how do you feel about women's acknowledgement and artistic culture when it comes to nerd culture? If that makes, like, how do you feel about? Do you feel that female artists get enough recognition within nerd culture? Because we know about Jack Kirby, and we know
Yeah,
about Jim Lee, and we know about Stan Lee and Neil Adams. But like, do you feel like there aren't enough women? Like Fiona Staples and Sarah Pacelli, do you feel like there's not enough acknowledgement on those fronts when it comes to nerd culture?
I think so. I mean, I don't hear those names at all. Because when you said their names, I'm like, who? But I just wish there was more recognition. Maybe in the future, in the near future, there'll be more recognition.
Mm.
But right now, they're I feel like the females are really underrepresented, and I just feel like there needs to be more put into those comics with female artists. Like,
So so how do you feel about and the names escape me, so I'm not even gonna try and sit there and but how do you feel about women's involvement in nerd culture as of lately? So you've had A Wrinkle in Time, which
mhm,
did amazing at the box office its first weekend. Female director, black female director.
mhm.
You had Wonder Woman, directed by a woman, starring a woman, about a woman. um, and you have the same director. I can't remember her name. It bothers me, and I'm gonna remember when this interview's over. But the same woman that directed Wrinkle in Time is now slated to direct Jack Kirby's Fourth World, which is about the New Gods and Dark Side and Highfather in DC Comics. And then another female director was slated to do another movie, and I can't think of what it is right now, and that's gonna bother me, and somebody's gonna call me out for it. But like, how do you feel about that the female nerd come up in nerd culture as of lately?
It gets me really excited because seeing so many female directors and so many female producers, it's inspirational. It's super interesting to hear those names and you see their faces and you see them enjoying what they do.
Hmm.
So that's really like yes.
Now, personal opinion,
Mhm.
um, but do you feel like women direct better movies than their male counterparts?
I can't answer that. I feel like
Set up.
it's their yeah. I feel like it's their it's how they direct. It doesn't
Mhm,
matter if you're male or female. It's just how you direct and how
mhm.
you see the project going. So no bias, no nothing. Just it just happens how you direct. How male, female doesn't matter. It's just how you direct.
So what are your personal goals for your art projects? You said you wanted to eventually work for Marvel or DC. So like, are you like trying to tailor your personal goals toward making that mark, or is this just something like if it happens, it happens?
I think it's a little bit of both. Like if it doesn't happen, I'll be fine, I guess. I don't know. But if it happens, I would be super excited, and I hope I make it there because I'm just right now perfecting my portfolio to be able to apply to those big companies.
Mm.
So I'm honestly like I just want to do whatever I can to make it there.
And so, would you be willing to start up your own comic in the
Oh
process?
yeah, I would. I would.
So you also cosplay,
Oh yes.
right? So how long have you been cosplaying? Like, how long has that been a thing?
I started I started in the seventh, eighth grade in middle school, and I was like 13, 14, 13, 14, 15, something like that. I don't know. I was young, but it went on up until um, my sophomore year of high school. Then I stopped because school got really intense, and I was getting into my junior year and senior year, and then I went to a convention like 2 or 3 years ago,
Mm.
and it was on and off, but I'm getting back into it now, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I took a break, and now I'm back.
So do you feel so? Well, what was your first cosplay? Let's backtrack to that. What was your first cosplay?
My first cosplay was Miku Hatsune, the Vocaloid.
Mm.
Like I was really into that at one point. Um, but that was my first big one, and then Vampire Knight, which was a manga that I really enjoyed. Yuki Cross, Yuki Korean, whatever. Um, that was another big one that I did. So those are pretty much how I started.
So do you feel like so you draw, you paint. Do you feel
Mhm.
like there is a direct correlation between the art that you do on paper and the art that you put together when you cosplay?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. They're two separate entities in my eyes. Like I put a lot of effort into both.
Mm.
I just um, I just think they're two separate entities that requires different amounts of time, different amounts of work to be done. So I feel like they're two separate things.
Do you put the same? Do you put the same? So do you take the same approach with one that you do the other, or is it like it's different approaches for different strokes for different folks? No pun intended. There's a lot of art puns here. but do you feel like you take a different approach to art versus cosplay?
Yes, it's totally different. Totally different. Um, with cosplay, it's more character. Well, not really. For cosplay, it's more fabric and more hair and more makeup centered,
Mm-hmm.
like me. And then with drawing and painting, it's more precise details, lines, facial expressions, movement. It they're kind of the same, but I focus more on different things when it comes to cosplay and art. So
So you mentioned makeup and cosplay. So and as the guys would say, they're just playing with paint on their face. But 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 do you um I know you on your Instagram you had a Princess Shuri esque Wakanda esque makeup
oh yeah,
I don't know what you guys call it. It's a makeup thing. I don't know what the proper term for it is. Make I don't know. I'm
it's
looking
pretty
dumb
much
right now.
makeup.
Yeah, I'm looking dumb. But do you um do you feel like is it easy for you to do makeup because you draw? Like, or is that like a stereotype? Like, oh, she can draw, she can do makeup. Is that a stereotype or is that actual fact? Like, or is it
Hmm.
different because it's on paper versus you sitting in the mirror and
It's different. It's different. Like you have your face and you have lines and you have just a rounded surface, which is your face,
hmm
and then paper it's just a flat surface.
hmm
So it's um, they're both two different things, and you gotta like focus your brain two different ways. Literally. So, I feel like makeup is an art in a way.
Hmm.
So I try to treat it as art, and I try to get as precise as possible. So yeah, it's an art. I think, yeah.
So you consider cosplay an art.
Hmm.
So how do you feel about how cosplay has evolved? I know I had my first interview was with Kitty Kaboom, and she went on to talk about how cosplay is, I guess, for lack of a better word, polluted with those who would exploit the art to gain monetary value. So, like in hip hop, you have the Nas, the J. Cole's, the Jay Z's, the Kendricks, and then you have the Lil Pumps and the Takashi 6 9s.
Hmm.
And in cosplay you have the artists who they put the costumes together and they take the time to actually make everything look good, and they get into character and they do the makeup and they act the part. And then you have what Kitty Kaboom was saying, you have the cosplayers who buy the bodysuits online, and they call it cosplay, and then they're half naked and then like in a bathing suit with certain colors or patterns on the bathing suit and call that cosplay. Or they'll be half naked and they'll say, oh, this is this cosplay because I'm wearing this color scheme or part of this outfit. Do you feel like Kitty Kaboom is right? Do you feel like cosplay as an art form has been convoluted with all the lewd cosplays? Or do you feel like maybe lewd is a different art form or an alternative art form within the cosplay culture?
I feel like I've seen a lot of lewd cosplays lately, and then they have a part Patreon or whatever,
Yeah.
and they ask for money for those lewd prints.
Hmm.
I don't think that. I mean, like it's if you're cosplaying a character, that's fine. But if it's just to be completely like half naked and just it no, it doesn't set well with me. It just doesn't. It
Yeah.
doesn't set well with me at all.
My bad. Yeah, no.
Like,
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, I just said you're good. You're good.
Oh no, it's just, yeah, and it's a topic I'm going to touch on in a couple of my interviews going forward, just because a lot of males feel that way actually, which is crazy because you think they're men, why wouldn't they like half naked women? Well, because the argument is that one can separate the art from the unnecessary. You know what I mean? Or the
Yeah.
art from the artist. Like I like a good quality cosplay. You know what I mean? There's a makeup artist I follow on Instagram. Her name is Taya Slay, if I'm not mistaken, and she does. She rarely do I see her in a costume, but I will always see her in makeup that represents a character. And so I still would call that cosplay. I still would
Yeah.
call that cosplay art in its, in a form or fashion. And
I
so
agree.
the argument is that are lewds an acceptable form of cosplay, like mumble rap is an acceptable form of rap. You know what I mean? It's that gray area. Like, well, okay, if she has on if she has on shorts and suspenders and no bra and orange hair, is she still Misty from Pokemon, or is she just a half naked artist? Is
I
somebody
feel
half
like
naked claiming to be an artist?
yeah, I feel like that's half naked art. I feel like that doesn't. It's not cosplay. Like if you do like oh let's see if I can think of one like allude Rio from Devilman Crybaby.
Mm.
That's fine because you're being Rio and it's Rio. So it depends. It's just if you're doing the character and you're doing the leads, then and you're in character and you're in the cosplay itself, that's good. That's fine. But if you're doing like how you explain the shorts, the suspenders with no bra, and the orange hair, is that Misty? No, no, I don't think that's Misty. So that's my take on it. I'm not really. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm not too into lewd stuff. I just like to watch the cosplayers
I,
and full outfits, or if they need to be half naked, because the character's half naked. That's how the character is, and that's how they portray it.
So, have you ever seen? Now, I've never looked for it, but have you ever seen men do lewd cosplay?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah,
I
that's
have.
not me. I ain't never. I've never
Um,
went to.
it's a little, hmm, silly.
But then you got real excited when you said yeah. So I mean,
I mean, if like
yes, yeah,
there's
yeah.
a
Oh, of
cosplayer that I
course.
like, he does kind of sometimes does lewd cosplays, but he's more because he's very muscular,
Mm-hmm.
and but I mean, you're doing the character like he did Hanzo and another girl was Mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Like they did like a little lewd cosplay thing. Like, oh wow, I didn't think about that, but I'm just not into the lewd community. I just like the characters that they're cosplaying or the
Mm-hmm.
cosplayers themselves. So
I might I might have to get a male lewd cosplayer. What I don't know. I might have to because I'm not gonna go look for it. That's just not my cup of tea. I don't have any disrespect to anybody that does. I've just never gone and looked for, like, because when you're adding cosplayers on social media and you run through them, you're like, oh, I like that. Because what normally happens is it's almost like clickbait. So you go through and you're like, oh, I like this person's one cosplay that's really dope, or they have one or two or three or four really dope cosplays, and then you like, boom, you go to the page, you like it, boom, there's a Patreon account, boom, half naked for like 6 dozen pictures, and then it's like that one bomb cosplay that you found, and that's why
yeah,
you like, yeah. And so it's like, oh, so I liked you, but you're naked. And
yeah.
it's
It's
like
like,
just,
why are you doing this?
yeah,
I
and
mean,
there's,
like,
yeah.
mm-hmm.
And so it's like I'm not gonna be, for argument's sake, I'm not gonna be for or against it. I'm just gonna be uh I'm just getting opinions, because it's a really interesting debate among the cosplay community right now. But yeah, I mean, I assume men did lewds, but I didn't go look for those guys.
They'll
So
show up. They'll show up. You just wait. They'll show up on your Instagram feed.
yeah, I was like, oh no. So
You're like, oh my god.
so yeah, I mean, but so are you going to be at any Comic Cons? Like, do you have any upcoming events? Do you have anything like going on that people could, see you at, or besides class?
Besides class, I wish I did. Usually I try to stay close to home a little bit for conventions.
Mm.
Because I live in Indiana and I try to stay between Indianapolis and Kentucky and Louisville. But honestly, I haven't been to a convention in a long time. I've been looking, but honestly, you can just find me on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Skype. You can honestly find me online, but you may not find me in person.
Do you do art for other people? Like, do you read fan fiction at all?
I used to. I don't do that anymore. I used
That's a world I'm gonna have to explore too, because I've heard some crazy things about fan fiction as well.
to. It's great.
But yeah, I've heard some things about fan fiction, but that's another episode. But would you be willing to do art for like the guys that try and write the comic, the writers, and you'd be willing to, okay, and that's cool.
Yes.
So you guys know who to find. Links will be in the description. So hero for hire over here. So she does she does draw for money. She does draw for money. Not half
I
naked. She won't
by
post
the
half
way,
naked,
draw
but
for
she'll
free.
draw
It
for
doesn't matter.
money. Oh, don't look. You can't say you draw for free, because then you can have a whole line out the door.
You get a whole bunch of people like draw me. I'm like, no. Like if you have a project and you need me to help, I can help.
Oh, okay.
But usually, when it comes to drawing for people, they just tell me what they want, and I usually just say like, what kind of price would you like to pay? But I've been trying to get into more of like pricing for myself, like
Mm.
the time I put into it, the materials that I used, the materials that I bought, and count up all of that and do all the math. But I'm slowly getting there. It's a process, but I can draw. So just let me know.
Word, bet. I might have a guy for you. I might have a
Nice.
guy trying to do a comic book for you. I'll exchange his information with you
Okay,
after this.
cool,
But
cool.
definitely. So thank you, Sudar, for your time. I appreciate it.
No
Um,
problem.
this has been Johnny D, Katherine McCadden, and we are signing off. You guys take it easy, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.